If you're just joining us, you're watching Newsnight, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Chioma Ifemeludike, an actress, activist, and filmmaker turned politician, is the flag bearer of the African Action Congress for the Anambra State Governorship election, scheduled for November 8. Ifemeludike says she's proud to represent her party and firmly believes she is the best candidate to lead the state into a new era of accountability and progress, while describing her campaign as a movement of light and renewal. In her words, the lighthouse is about to be lit. Now, her entry into the race signals a growing trend of young, dynamic Nigerians stepping into politics and challenging the patriarchal dominance in Nigerian democracy.
To love one another isn't about the money. If it's about the money, I should be looking for my share at ABGA, APC or PDP. But I said no, I won't be a party to greed. I refuse to dine with the devil. They have taken the money meant for our community development and diverted it. They sat on the future of these young ones. I have refused to involve myself. Instead, let me be a part of a party, the African Action Congress, AAC, the party with a human conscience, a party that is aware of the sufferings of its people, aware that the school building projects are ongoing. This is a school, right? This even looks better. There are some places with no school at all. You see, those in leadership, their children don't attend these schools. They mostly school abroad or are in private schools. Do you understand? We are being cheated. We are mere onlookers.
Well, for more on her bid in the Anambra governorship election, we are now joined from Idemili North local government area of the state by the African Action Congress Party governorship candidate, Chioma Ifemeludike, who is also a Nollywood film star. Thank you so much, Chioma, for being on Newsnight.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, you told us in that clip why you decided the platform of the AAC. So let me just ask you, and I can see you've strained your voice, perhaps from campaign. Actress, activist, now politician. What inspired you to transition or to want to transition from filmmaking and film acting to politics?
Okay, I wouldn't necessarily call it transitioning, because I've always been in the corridor of governance and politics, and not just because I studied political science, okay, but also because I was a student unionist. And what, attracted me to becoming a unionist or a student leader was to speak for, students who didn't have the voice, was to, make sure that the student community or students in their communities were getting the basic amenities that should aid them in their environmental study. So I've always been that person who took the responsibility of caring for others. And at this time in my lifetime, and the time when the African Action Congress is positioning as the only alternative that stands for the people, it became imperative that I step into the position of, making myself the #1 person in Anambra State and looking out for the thousands of the Anambra State, the children, disabled, and all the vulnerable people in our society, making sure that they get the dividends of democracy and they get to feel the impact of good leadership like never before.
Right. Now, in recent times, there have been allegations of misogynistic, remarks towards you in the build-up to the Anambra election. As a woman in the ring, how is all of this impacting your campaign and, of course, yourself personally, as you go up around this campaign? Is it a deliberate war against, female politicians, or how are you reading this?
For me personally, I'm solid. I'm solid like rock. You know, when I tell you that I've been a unionist in the National Association of Nigerian Students, that can tell you that I'm a woman born out of experience and formed from, you know, encounters. So I'm solid like rock. And that is why more women should step out into the ring. So you can form yourself and you'll be formidable. It doesn't matter what people project. People could decide to be, you know, male chauvinist. People can decide to talk down on your personality. There's so many angles. You know, people who want to become barriers or adversaries to you becoming what you want to be. But what is important is, who are you? Who do you see yourself as? Whether you're a woman or you're a man or you're a youth or elder, what are your visions as a person? So I'm not the kind of person that you intimidate or you try to make to feel less of herself. It doesn't matter whatever, you know, rhetoric or whatever they say. What is important is that I am passionate about in the Anambra state, and I'm stepping into the ring to demand better. That is it. I think that is what I am focusing on. I don't pay attention to distractions or detractors.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And very well said, Chioma. But let me ask you, because I went on your social media pages where I see you've been very active, particularly about your campaigning. On your X page, I noticed that you pinned your declaration for governorship on July, I believe it was July 18th, 2025. But to be honest, your campaign only seemed to gain national momentum this week when you released some very striking photographs, I must say, of you in black leather. Those pictures went viral. Was that also a deliberate strategy? And how do you feel that people have only noticed you, per se, this week? And what are you bringing to Anambra people that they have not been told before? How are you different from the ABGA, the APC, and the PDP? Because your manifesto seems to be alike.
To the viral sensation and the question you asked about being deliberate about the pictures. I didn't post the pictures as a strategy. No, it wasn't. And then the idea that it was my official campaign picture. I mean, elections was in June 11. Why should I be releasing official pictures for campaign when it's just some days to? So I'm an actress, and I'm used to glamour, because glam is what we do, you know, in the entertainment industry. But I think what the clash was, you know, glam meeting politics. And it was something people are not used to. And to think that this picture has been on my social space, I mean, way back 2022, that was when I took that, you know, very outstanding pictures. And yes, yeah, that's the reality. So over time, when I try to, you know, maybe spicing up my social space, I put out my beautiful pictures, because I'm actually a very beautiful woman. I've got very, very unique physique. I think I'm the only woman in Nigeria or in Africa that got that kind of physique. So I don't, it's not something, and I work really hard to put my body in shape. I eat well, I go to the gym, so I'm always very proud to you know, show this creativity from the Almighty God. So that was just what I was about.
Yeah. And the other part of the question, right before Ngozi jumps in here, well, how's your manifesto different from others? Okay. I mean, what makes it different?
Oh yeah, what makes it different is that I'm bringing innovation and creativity. Just like, you know, I'm from the creative industry. I intend to do things that this government would never be able to attempt because they don't have the vision. For instance, in the creative industry, I intend to have a film academy, the biggest film academy in West Africa, in Anambra State, where people, international students, can come and study filmmaking and every other department in the entire film industry. And also to make sure that young producers, I was once a producer, a low-budget producer or low-scale producer, and at some point, funding was a problem. to make sure that young producers get the opportunity to be empowered so they can create their own industries and thereby creating jobs for other people. So these and many more ways, even in the agricultural sector, I intend to introduce what I call AFEX, the Anambra Farmers, is a scheme that would give the Anambra farmers more opportunity to be productive. Like in that scheme, Anambra State Empowerment Scheme, I intend to make sure that the Anambra gets to mechanize farming instead of the traditional way of farming, hoe and cutlass. I think the world has moved beyond that. In fact, right now, you could plant with technology. So, and also in boosting the quality of our farm produce by also making sure that I give to these communities that are majorly farmers like Anambra local government to have access to, quality fertilizers, upgraded seedlings. These are many words, and also grants. I intend to give grants to nothing less than 5,000 farmers in the first 2 years of my government, and make sure that they have the financial capacity to, boost their agricultural activities, and then also having to have more quality and quantity in food supply.
Right.
So these are many other creative and innovative ways that we're going to be doing leadership under my watch.
Right, very, very interesting to hear you talk about the entertainment industry and, of course, agriculture. But it will take a whole lot more to deliver for the people of Anambra. Economy, for example, health, education, and all of that. What will you be doing differently? Anambra right now actually tops, on the fiscal performance ranking by budget 2025. How are you going to outperform what the current government has done, especially in the area of economy and other sectors, infrastructure and what have you? Do you have a clear blueprint that spells out exactly what you have for the Anambra if you run for the election and, of course, if you win?
Yes, absolutely. Like I stated in the agricultural sector, because it's important that we diversify the economy by looking into the potentials that agriculture has got to, give Anambra State, boosting the IGR collection and making the economy. For instance, in Ayamelum, you find more of rice producers in that local government, in that terrain. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you, Miss Chioma Ifemeludike. Can you hear us? Okay. It does seem like we've lost connection there. Of course, in the course of her campaign, she's talked about beauty and brains. Modesty is definitely something you cannot ascribe to her. She says she's the most beautiful.
Have the potential to export, especially the rice production in Anambra State.
Go ahead.
Is it off?
Go ahead. No, you're live. You are live. You are live.
Okay. Are we there?
Yes.
Yes.
So you could tell there's so much potential in the Ayamelum local government. In areas like Omo, you find a lot of farm producers in specifically in rice production. So if we can, when we eventually invest in these farmers and give them the needed empowerment by the grants, the fertilizers, the seedlings that they'll be needing, and they'll be able to have enough food supply, then we can export it. And by the time we export this food supply to the international food chain and production exchange, we'll be having more IGR in the state. So that's in the agricultural sector. In terms of infrastructure, we intend to make sure we build road networks, expand the road networks, because Anambra State is a commercialized state, it's a state of trade and commerce. So there's so many dilapidated road networks in Anambra State. And also to make sure that we make it conducive, for commuters to be able to ply these roads. We're also going to be, looking at areas where we're going to be creating link bridges that could allow the movement of goods and the free movement of goods and services in Anambra State. By the time, when you get to Nnewi is a city that's got the potential to be the economic hub of
Great.
Anambra State.
Chioma,
When I become governor,
certainly,
I will make sure that in Nnewi that the roads are more, they will have more expanded road networks, because it seems to have a lot of congestion.
Chioma definitely has her manifesto and knows what is ahead for her. She speaks confidently. She uses, if you listen to her, she says when and not if. And we can only wish her the very best, Chioma. Unfortunately, time is not our friend.
Yes, indeed.
And we wish you the best. Chioma is only the second female out of 16 candidates in the forthcoming election in Anambra State. Yeah. Chioma Ifemeludike.